Very good morning, dear students. I am Madam Prasanna and I am here to handle the next session of power electronics. Dear students, you would have all heard about digital systems. Digital systems which work on the binary number system, that is logic 0 and logic 1. 0 means 0 volts and logic high means 5 volts, which means it is unidirectional. So, unidirectional means I am talking about DC, and the advent of this binary system and digital systems gave rise to the integrated circuit ICs, which came into existence and which revolutionized the electronics industry itself. So, you know, there are hundreds of circuits which make use of these ICs and ICs which work on DC. So, you are having all your appliances at home which work on these electronics, your TVs, then the microwave, the food processor, the mixer, grinder, all of them work on DC. So, I guess it is best to know how I can convert the AC which is available, totally available to us, into DC. So, today's class I am going to deal with the third chapter, that is controlled rectifiers. How I can control the DC output given to the load. In the previous class, my team member introduced you to the concepts of controlled rectifiers, and in this class, in the first slide, I am going to talk about the following topics. The first slide tells you, I am going to tell you about the principle of phase control, then what is firing angle and what is conduction angle, the definitions and what it is all about with the waveforms, and then I may be talking about the single phase half wave controlled converter, the schematic diagram, the waveforms and the operation. So, here I would like to just give you a brief overview of which all devices are used for rectification. So, rectification you all know is a process of converting AC to DC. First rectifiers which were there in the 1880s, 1880, you had mercury arc rectifiers, which was the primary method of high power rectification. Then you had vacuum tube diodes. Okay. Then we had the selenium rectifiers, which are the metal rectifiers. Then came the semiconductor diodes, which you have already learnt about. Then came the thyratrons, which were used in the rectification process. After which power diodes, and the most widely used nowadays is the control rectifiers, the thyristor family of SCRs, which are going to be widely used in the process of controlled rectification. So, the next slide is going to tell me what is this controlled rectification all about. I already told you thyristors change the art of AC to DC conversion, and phase controlled AC to DC, it has a constant AC input. Please see, the input is constant, AC, it is AC, it is having a constant frequency, the magnitude of it also is also constant. But at the output I am going to get a controlled DC output. Please see, it is a DC output and which can be varied in magnitude. It has no frequency because it is a DC. So, it can be varied in magnitude by controlling the angle at which I am going to trigger the thyristor. Numerous industrial applications make use of controllable DC power. Hundreds and thousands of industrial applications are going to make use of controllable DC power. Now, this controllable DC power, which is going to be obtained from the controlled rectifiers. So, let us see what are all those applications. See, the first application I have shown you is in the steel mills and paper mills DC motor drives. They are used in these mills for production of steel and paper of all different qualities. Then you are having these control rectifiers usage in the DC motor drives of textile mills, variety of textiles, and printing press, newspapers, magazines, pamphlets, notices and invitation cards, where you make all those. You are going to make use of these control rectifiers in those DC motor drives. Then you come to the electrochemical process, electrolysis, chemical reactions taking place. I think one best example you can give is your batteries, where the power is going to be stored and you can use it when you like. And then you have even refining of water, or water purification, you can say. Then in almost all the metallurgical processes, wherein you can do extraction of metals from their ores, and you can do electro deposition, you can even do purification of metals, and you can do electroplating. All these are going to be making use of the control rectifiers. Then a very special application is the magnet power supply. Power supply to the magnets, superconducting magnets they are called as, which are having very, very good uses in your biomedical instruments. Your MRI scans, you would have heard of it. Then in X-ray diffraction, in neutron diffraction, in a scanning tunneling microscope, which is going to obtain the atomic scale images of metal surfaces. So, a lot of applications of this magnet power supplies. Then you are having these small power tools which are so useful to us at home. You may be having these drills, cordless drills, you may be having these rotary tool kits, these impact drivers, circular saws, which are all using these small ICs and control rectifiers in their circuits to get the required DC, controlled DC output to drive. A very, very important use is the HVDC, high voltage DC, which is going to be transmitting power at very high voltages of kilovolts, thousands and thousands of kilometers transmission is possible. Then you can use them in your submarine cables, undersea cables you are going to use. So, wonderful uses of this controllable DC power, and very important is in your traction system. So, dear students, in the Indian scenario, I would like to just give information to you. Indian scenario, you are having both high voltage DC as well as AC traction. Mumbai has 1500 volts DC traction, and Namma Metro, that is Bangalore Metro, is working on 750 volt DC, third rail DC traction. And you are even having, of course, AC 25 kilowatt 50 hertz AC traction for Delhi Metro. So, that being the case, I think it is best to know how I am going to get this controllable DC power by making use of the control rectifiers, that is the thyristors. So, moving on to the principle of phase control. Phase control is the most common form of thyristor power control, and in this normally SCR, which is in the off condition, is going to be triggered into the on condition by the control circuitry. So, I have already spoken in the previous classes what is off and what is on, but in spite of it, once again I would like to tell you, off condition it works like an open switch, voltage is high, maximum, current is 0 or minimum, maybe leakage current, and on condition it is working like a closed switch where current is very high and voltage is minimum. And this phase control is the only common non-zero voltage crossover. Please note this terminology, non-zero, when the AC input waveform is not passing through at 0. Then also I can fire or then also I can trigger the thyristor. So that is why it is the only common non-zero voltage crossover firing mode, which means to say there is even a zero crossing firing methodology, which we will not discuss today. Okay, then please see principle of phase control. It is going to dissect each individual AC cycle. Cycle means which is having positive and negative half over 360 electrical degrees. Okay, 180 electrical degrees makes a positive half, 180 electrical degrees make the negative half. So it is going to dissect each individual AC cycle into small parts. So wherever I want, I can give a trigger. In whichever part of the AC I can give a trigger, and it delivers more or less power to the load. I can connect the load in the anode to cathode circuit. So the phase angle, when I increase or decrease it, I can control the load power, throughput power. That is what I have written, the load power to the load. So that is why this phase angle control is extremely tight and accurate control, because I can control the amount of power, I can control the phase angle at which I am going to give the trigger, I can make use of this phase angle firing in all types of loads. The next slide is going to show you the waveform. I have shown the waveform in both the halves, say thinking that there are two SCRs connected back to back. So please see over here, the shaded portion is the conduction part and the non-shaded portion shows it is off. The shaded portion here showing that the SCR is on. So in the positive half I am having one SCR which is on for some period of time, and at this alpha I am going to trigger, I am going to give a gate. So the power is regulated by advancing or delaying this point. I can trigger it wherever I want, between 0 to 180 degrees, wherever I want I can give a trigger. Thereby I can control this area, that is the amount of power which is going to be given to the load which is connected in the anode to cathode circuit of the thyristor. Advantages. Okay, in this slide I am giving you the advantages. It provides a very fine resolution of power, in the sense accurate amount of voltage I can give, 0.000, how much ever you want, you can give that much of accuracy. Then it is used to control fast responding loads such as tungsten filament lamps. Then it is also required if the load is transformer coupled or inductive coupled load. Okay, phase angle control can be used there also. And much more phase angle controllers are more sophisticated than a zero cross circuit. I already told you zero crossing means when the voltage passes through zero. Phase angle crossing is non-zero. It can be controlled at zero also, but normally when the voltage passes through an angle not through zero, that is where I am going to apply this phase angle control. So next slide is going to tell me what do you mean by firing angle. Firing angle is nothing but the phase angle of an applied voltage at which a thyristor starts to conduct. The point on the AC waveform where I am going to give my gate trigger. Please see, all control rectifiers are going to be triggered by the gate triggering method. You have already learnt about the various triggering methods of SCRs. So in this control rectifiers I am making use of the most commonly, most widely, most preferred use of gate triggering by pulse triggering method. So the moment I apply the pulse, the SCR starts triggering. The moment I apply the pulse to the gate, the SCR moves to its on state. So that angle at which I am going to apply the gate pulse and make it to conduct, that is called as the firing angle, triggering angle. So over here very clearly I have written there are 360 electrical degrees in the cycle and 180 degrees in the half cycle. So, the number of degrees from the beginning of the cycle, that is starting from 0 until the SCR is gated on, when I am going to trigger it on, is referred to as the firing angle. So, from the beginning to the moment I am going to give the gate pulse, that is called as the firing angle. Please see, it is an angle. So, it is firing angle. So, in the next slide I can very clearly show by this graph. Okay, I have shown two different gate pulses at two different moments in the AC. So, the first gate pulse I have applied at 45 degrees, okay, firing angle is 45 degrees. The blue shaded portion is going to show me it is conducting, and the non shaded portion says it is in the off state. So, off state to on state, and this is the firing angle. The 45 degrees is going to be the firing angle. The red shaded portion here clearly shows I am giving a gate pulse at 90 degrees. Okay. So, over here in the positive half, 90 degrees is going to be my firing angle, and the SCR is on and it starts conducting during this red shaded portion. Now, I have even shown you in the negative half cycle wherein I connect another SCR in the opposite direction. Over here I should say a firing angle is 180 plus 45. So, please see, firing angle is always counted from 0 of my applied input voltage. So, from 0 to 180 plus 45 it is going to be fired, another gate pulse is given, or the other gate pulse, fourth gate pulse can be given at 180 plus 90, that is 270 degrees. So, this red portion is fired at 270, this is fired at 180 plus 45. So, like this I can give firing pulses between 0 to 180 degrees how many ever times I like, and I can control how many ever SCRs I have connected in the circuit depending on the complexity of the circuit, the number of SCRs which are connected in the circuit, and the moment when they have to be turned on. All these can be designed very easily by giving the gate pulses at that particular moment of time in the AC input. Okay. So, that is firing angle I have shown with respect to gate pulses which are applied at different instants of time. So, in the next slide we will come to know what is conduction angle. So, the moment the SCR is turned on, it remains on till it passes through 0. So, and it goes to negative anyway. Let us just see what is conduction angle. There are 360 electrical degrees in a cycle, that we already know, and 180 degrees in half cycle. The number of degrees that the SCR remains conducting is known as the conduction angle. Once the SCR is triggered to the on state, it remains in its on state, okay, and the amount of time or the number of degrees it remains in the on state, high current, low voltage state, that is known as conduction angle. It is an angle, please see. So, the earlier in the cycle the SCR is gated on, the greater will be the voltage applied. That is why I told you controllable DC. Any moment I can trigger, and once I start give a trigger pulse, it starts conducting. So, I can control the amount of power, the amount of voltage, the amount of current which can pass through the load. So, in the next slide I am showing you the different waveforms wherein I have showed you maximum output, half maximum output, no output. So, let us see, at 0 degrees if I fire, then 180 degrees it is going to conduct, provided I am connecting only one SCR. So, only one SCR, when it is forward bias it conducts, when it is reverse bias it is going to switch off. So, natural or line commutation, you already know about that, I am sure. So, over here in the first waveform 0 degree firing angle means 180 degree conduction angle. So, it conducts through all this 180 degrees. Once again you could make out I am giving another firing pulse at 0. So, which means full output is present in the positive half, which means phase delay when it is 0, I am getting my maximum output. Now, in the second waveform you could see I am giving a gate pulse when it is 90 degrees. Okay. So, 90 degrees firing angle means 90 degrees conduction angle. So, in this portion only the SCR is going to be on. So, only half portion of the current and voltage is available. So, that is why for phase delay 90 degrees I am going to get only half the maximum output. Okay. So, 90 degrees it is off and for another 90 degrees it is on when I give the gate pulse exactly at 90 degrees. Then the third figure, when I give it at 180 degrees, it does not conduct at all because positive half is already over. So, phase delay of 180 degrees means there is no output provided I am using only one SCR in the circuit. So, 180 degrees firing angle means 0 degrees conduction angle, and 180 degrees firing angle also means I am giving a gate pulse at 180 degrees of the AC input. So, that means the SCR is reverse biased and it does not conduct at all. So, there is no conduction or no output. So, this way I can vary the output from maximum to 0. So, that is what is called as controlled DC output, and controlled rectifiers are going to convert a constant AC input into a controlled DC output. I hope you understood what that principle is all about. Okay. The next slide also I have just shown a circuit, a simple circuit. I have connected the load in the anode to cathode. Please see, one SCR I have used. I am connecting a load in the anode to cathode and I am giving a trigger pulse through a diode, okay, a positive gate current, right, and then this is my AC input, and please see when I trigger it at 0, alpha is 0, alpha means firing angle, beta means conduction angle, okay, normal terminologies which are used in power electronics. So, the moment you see alpha means you should come to know it is a firing angle, angle at which the gate pulse is given, angle at which the SCR is going to be triggered into its on condition. Okay. So, alpha is 0 and beta is 180 degrees, which means maximum output. Here alpha is 90, beta is 90, half the maximum output. Alpha is 45, beta is 135. So, 180 degrees is shared between the firing angle and the conduction angle. That is what I have clearly shown here, and this is the output waveform. It is unidirectional, you could make out. So, that is why it is DC. AC input has been converted into a DC output, and it is being controlled. The amount of voltage and current which is going to flow through the load is controlled. That is why it is called as a controlled rectifier, converting constant AC to a variable or value of DC changes. Now, let us move on to the operation of a phase controlled rectifier. So, a phase controlled rectifier is definitely going to make use of a thyristor, and it is going to make use of the most common method of gate triggering. So, over here I have written that it is turned on by applying a short gate pulse. So, pulse gate triggering is the methodology, and it is turned off. Please see, it is turned off when the voltage is negative. So, and the moment the voltage passes through its negative half cycle, the SCR becomes reverse biased. So, once the SCR is reverse biased, it automatically switches off. So, that is why called as natural or line commutation, the process where the SCR automatically switches off when the voltage is negative, or when the voltage passes through the negative half of the AC, that is called as natural or line commutation. You are already aware of this, and in this case I am not going to show any trigger circuitry. This is for convenience. Anyway, you should remember that we are applying short gate pulses to trigger the SCR. Okay. Then phase control rectifiers don't need commutation. What do you mean by commutation? Commutation means turning off. So, I don't require any extra circuit to turn off the SCRs. That is because of the fact that natural or line commutation is going to happen. Once the voltage, input voltage, AC voltage passes through its negative half cycle, the SCR becomes reverse biased and it switches off. So, I do not require any extra commutation circuitry at all, and of course, because of that only it becomes very simple and it becomes a very less expensive circuit. And one more thing is efficiency of this control rectifier, phase control rectifier is more than 95%, losses are less. So, nearly 95% of input what I am giving, I am going to get 95% of it at the output. So, that is why its efficiency is greater than 95%, and these are also called as AC to DC converters. Already you will be aware of this, but in spite of it, I wanted you to go through the types of phase control converters. Now, depending on the input supply, of course, you are having single phase and 3 phase, you already know where AC inputs are single phase and 3 phase. So, accordingly, if I make use of single phase AC input, I call it as single phase converters, and if I am going to make use of 3 phase AC input, I am going to have 3 phase converters, and each type can be again subdivided into these 3, that is, one is called the semi converter, then you are having a full converter and you are having a dual converter. So, what is this semi converter? Semi converter is a 1 quadrant converter. In the first quadrant only I am going to get my output voltage and current. First quadrant only the voltage will be positive and the current also will be positive. Okay? So, a semi converter is a 1 quadrant converter in which the polarity of the output voltage and current is a single polarity and normally positive. Okay? So, this is the converter which I am going to discuss, a semi converter which I am going to discuss in today's session. We are going to deal with one type of semi converter. Then you are having a full converter, which is a 2 quadrant converter. I cannot restrict my polarity to only one, means then I can make use of this full converter, wherein please see the polarity of the output voltage is either positive or negative. Voltage can either be positive or negative, but the output current has only one polarity. So, voltage only will have both type of polarities, either positive or negative, whereas the output current will be only in one direction. Okay? And finally, dual converter. Dual converter is a 4 quadrant converter, wherein the polarity of both the output voltage as well as the output current can be either positive or negative. Now, please see students, as I move through these converters, the number of thyristors which I am going to use will increase, the complexity of the circuit will increase, the number of gate trigger pulses which I have to give will also increase. Okay? So, the simplest of the 3 is definitely the semi converter. Now, let us come to the portion which I have to deal with today, single phase half wave control rectifier. So, as the term indicates, I am going to give a single phase AC input and I am going to only control the DC output in half wave, that is the positive half of the AC I can control and I can get my DC. So, single phase half wave control rectifier is the simplest form of control rectifier circuit, and it consists of a single thyristor, single SCR, very simple, and this single SCR is going to feed power to the load. The load is going to be connected between the anode and cathode of the SCR. The load may be resistive or R load, okay. It can also be an RL, that is resistive as well as inductance. Resistance as well as inductance can be connected across the load. So, it is called as RL load, and this RL load can be without a freewheeling diode or with a freewheeling diode. Now, freewheeling diode for discharge and for charging purposes, for it to take place, we are going to use. Anyway, let us not talk much about it anyway. RLE load, wherein I connect a resistance, I connect an inductance, and this E is going to tell me I am going to connect a DC voltage also. Okay, one more extra DC voltage I am giving in the load circuit. The next slide is going to deal with resistive load. I am going to talk about a single phase half wave control rectifier with a resistive load. Okay. So, the circuit is very simple. Please see, students, I have not shown any trigger circuit here. Do not think I have left the gate open. The gate is going to be fired at the required angle, firing angle. I already have discussed about it. So, I am going to give a pulse to the gate, and I am going to turn on this SCR, okay, and a positive gate current I am going to give. So, do not think that the gate is left open here. I have not shown the gate circuitry, only for convenience. I am going to provide pulse at the required instant of time to the gate, and once I provide that pulse, then only the SCR will start to conduct. Okay. So, the circuit is with R, resistive load. Please see, this is the load and it is a resistance, and input voltage is Vs, and it is an AC input, and that is why I have given this Vm sin omega t. Vm means the maximum magnitude of it is maximum, and it is a sinusoidal waveform. Okay. So, Vm sin omega t is the input voltage. Please see, Vt is the voltage across the thyristor. So, I am going to make out when the thyristor will on and when it will off by looking at this voltage waveform. Okay. If you remember, voltage across the thyristor will be maximum, or almost all the AC voltage, input AC voltage will fall across the thyristor when it is in off condition. But once it is on, voltage becomes 0, then almost all that voltage will come across this load. So, that is the principle, that is the understanding which you students should have. So, when I am talking about waveforms, then you will come to know of it better. Anyway, Vt is the voltage across the SCR, and please see the direction of current I0. I0 is the current through the load. I am marking all these terminologies because in the output waveforms, in the waveforms I have to show all these. I have to show my input waveform, I have to show the voltage across the thyristor, I have to show the current flowing through the load, that waveform, and I have to even show what my output voltage is going to be, that is the voltage across the resistance. So, this is the simplest circuit, one thyristor, one AC input and one resistor with a gate trigger pulse. Maybe you can just draw a pulse here and show that it is going to be triggered. Okay. So, the next is a very important slide, students. You have to analyze and understand the different waveforms of these, that is Vs, Vt, I0 and V0. Vs is not going to be a problem because I am going to draw only a AC waveform. So, Vs is not at all a problem. Once I give a trigger pulse, what will happen to the others? Vt, V0 and I0 is what it should be understood by you students. So, the next slide, please see, the first waveform is a AC input. It is an AC waveform. I have written Vm sin omega t, and this is the input voltage, AC input voltage. The second waveform is very clearly you could make out, it is the firing pulses. Firing pulses given to the gate Tg, G I have written, please see, G means gate. So, at this instant of time I am going to fire, okay, at an alpha, alpha is the firing angle. So, please see, I can change this firing angle to whichever portion I want. So, you need not bother where to draw your pulse, you need not break your head. But the moment you draw your pulse, the remaining waveform should follow with respect to this pulse only. So, the second waveform is the pulse waveform, the gate pulses which are periodic. Please see, at the same instant of time in the positive half only I am giving. I have not given any pulse in the negative half. Please note down students, negative half I am not going to give a trigger pulse. Trigger pulse will only be given in the when the AC input waveform passes through its positive half, because I am using only one SCR. In case if I had used another SCR, I could have triggered it here. So, please see, in a single phase half wave control rectifier, I am giving gate triggers only when the input voltage passes through its positive half cycle. So, that is why over here I have given, and again when it is passing through another positive half I have given, again one more time I am giving it here when the AC input is passing through its positive half. The moment I trigger, what happens to my, please see, output? Till such time the voltage, whatever voltage was appearing, it appeared only across the thyristor. I told you that when the thyristor is off, it is acting like an open switch. So, almost all the input voltage will appear across the thyristor. Thyristor is off, it is not conducting, which means there is 0 voltage. Please see this initial before the firing pulse, before the trigger pulse. Before the trigger pulse, only the thyristor voltage will be there. Almost all the input voltage will appear across the thyristor. Once the thyristor switch is on, please see, the thyristor acts like a closed switch. So, voltage across a closed switch is 0. So, that is why please see I have drawn 0 here, okay, in this waveform. This is voltage across the thyristor. So, what happens, where does the voltage go? So, that means the remaining portion of the AC will be across your load resistance. V0 is the load resistance. So, voltage across the load resistance, almost all the remaining AC will appear here and it will be passing through the load. So, current waveform also, it is a resistor. Please see, the waveforms of current and voltage in a resistor are in phase. If you remember AC fundamentals, whenever I am having a resistance, then I am going to have voltage as well as current waveforms which are in phase with each other. That is, they pass through 0, they pass through maximum at the same instant of time. So, that is why please see students, I have drawn even I0 in phase with V0. So, because I am taking a resistive load. So, the moment I trigger the SCR at some angle, at some firing angle, I am going to have voltage appearing across the load and maximum current flowing through the load. Okay. So, the remaining positive half I am having voltage, output voltage as well as output current, and the voltage across the thyristor at this instant of time is 0. Now please see the negative half, what happens in the negative half. Okay, in the negative half the SCR is reverse biased. So the SCR goes to its off, it is going to be switched off. So the moment it is switched off, what happens? There is no voltage. There is no voltage across the anode and cathode. Off means open circuit, so open circuit means there is no voltage across the, there is no current flowing through the anode to cathode, and subsequently there is no voltage. They are in phase waveforms. Okay, that is why negative half cycle V naught is 0, I naught is also 0. Now please note here the voltage across the thyristor, the entire negative half voltage will pass through the thyristor because the thyristor is off. Okay. So students, I hope you understood, when as long as the thyristor remains off, all the voltage will be across it. Okay. Once the thyristor is on, there will be no voltage across the thyristor, 0. That voltage will fall across the load resistance, and current also will be in phase with it because I have considered the load to be resistive in nature. Okay, the same waveforms I can show it here very clearly. Please see, once again I am showing, this is the AC, input AC, then I am shaded portion here in the positive half is the trigger pulse. Now please see, this is the voltage across the thyristor. So before the trigger pulse, thyristor is off, that is why all the voltage appears across the thyristor. Once the trigger pulse is given, the SCR is on, so voltage across the thyristor becomes 0. Negative half, all the voltage will fall across the thyristor. So that is what I have shown here. Okay. And once again please see, in the next positive again I am triggering at this. So till the moment I trigger, that voltage will be available across the thyristor. The moment I give another trigger pulse, all that voltage will fall across the load. So the thyristor voltage will be 0. And in the negative half, all the voltage appears across the thyristor. Now this is the, please see, output voltage. Now you could clearly make out AC input, which is having both positive as well as negative half cycles, has become a DC output, wherein I am seeing only positive half cycle appearing, correct. So I have converted AC to DC, and I have controlled the amount of DC. So that is why I am terming it to be as a controlled rectifier. Even the output current also is AC because it is in phase. So that is why only during the conduction angle period I am going to have a current flowing through the SCR or the thyristor. So students, you have to draw these waveforms, totally 5 waveforms. Whenever you get this question, you have to put your input AC waveform, that is very simple, after which here you can overlap this, or maybe in another waveform you can show the great trigger only in the positive half. Please see, only in the positive half cycle you give a trigger. Then next you may show the voltage across the thyristor, then you must show the voltage waveform across the load and the current waveform across the load. Voltage and current waveforms across the load are in phase because of the fact that it is a resistive load which I have considered. Now you need not to worry about this, okay, it looks very complex, but it is very simple if you understand what it is. DC voltage, if I want to have the value of the DC voltage, I am going to integrate the AC input during the period when it is conducting, okay. So that is why please see, integral sign I have given alpha to pi, pi means 180 degrees, I hope you know this. Alpha to pi, I am integrating my input waveform with respect to omega t. So Vm sin omega t okay, between alpha and pi over the entire period of cycle, AC cycle. Entire period means 360 degrees, which means 1 by 2 pi. So, 1 over 2 pi integration between alpha to pi Vm sin omega t, which means Vm is a constant. So, I remove it outside. Vm by 2 pi is a constant. Integral of sin omega t is minus cos omega t. This is a very basic integration and simple formula. Integral of sin is minus cos between the limits pi and alpha. So, when I am going to apply the limits, I will have Vm by 2 pi minus of cos of pi minus of cos of alpha. Okay. So, which means 1 plus cos alpha, minus of cos 180 degrees means minus 1, minus into minus becomes plus, plus cos alpha. So, Vm by 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha. Now, I can apply any angle between 0 to 180 degrees to alpha, and I can get a value of the DC, correct? I can calculate the value of the DC. So, please see the maximum and minimum values of this can be between Vm by pi and 0 by varying alpha from 0 to pi. When I put alpha is 0, cos of 0 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So, Vm 2 Vm by 2 pi means Vm by pi. So, the maximum value which the DC can take is Vm by pi, and minimum value is when I give pi. So, it becomes minus 1. So, minus 1 means it is 0. So, that is why I can have it to vary from 0 to pi, okay, Vm by pi to 0 by varying it from 0 to pi. So, this is the value, maximum value of Vm by pi. Now, if I want to have a root mean square value of output voltage, then I just have to apply the formula square root half to the power of half, okay, integral to the square. So, Vm squared sin squared omega t d of omega t over a period of one full cycle 1 by 2 pi. Anyway, you need not bother, this is not there, but I just wanted to show you what is the value of the DC output. Maximum value of the DC output in this circuit is Vm by pi, and minimum value is 0 when the firing angle is varied between 0 to 180 degrees. Okay. Now, operation I have already talked about it. Thyristor is fired at an angle alpha during a positive half cycle. You must write this, okay, positive half cycle only, and this is called as the firing angle. And one more thing to note down is thyristor turns off when the input voltage is negative during negative half cycle, and this is natural commutation. Now, the problem with these semi converters is they are not used in industrial applications. Why? Because it has high ripple and low ripple frequency. I will tell you the disadvantages. So, disadvantages of single phase half wave control rectifiers, which means I do not make use of it, but still for students to understand the working principle of phase control, we will consider a single thyristor. That is why the simplest circuit. So, you have to know about it. Anyway, it is not used, but still what are those disadvantages you should come to know. Single phase half wave control rectifiers gives low DC output voltage. So, I cannot make use of it wherever I require higher output DC voltages. Okay. Low DC output power and lower efficiency. Efficiency also is less. Ripple means amount of AC, the percentage of AC which is present in the DC output. So, it is having high amount of ripple, unwanted voltage. Okay. So, that is why I call it as higher ripple voltage and ripple current, which is unwanted, which means again higher ripple factor. The amount of AC present in DC, I do not want it, because I want my output to be only a DC, and lower transformer utilization factor. I can even make use of it in transformer coupled circuits, I told you. So, load transformer utilization factor, and the input supply current waveform has a DC component which can result in DC saturation of transformer. Okay? So, that is why it is having almost all the disadvantages. They are rarely used in practice and they are only of theoretical interest for students like you to understand the working of firing angle and conduction angle and what happens when the SCR is turned on, what happened to the voltages and currents across the load. For such purposes only we will be studying about half wave control rectifiers. And these disadvantages can be overcome by making use of full wave control rectifiers. So, which will be taught in the next session, not in this session. So, most of the practical converter circuits use full wave controlled rectifiers. Now, I have even for you students to understand, RL load is going to give me a much better DC output current with lesser ripple content, okay, better efficiency. Now, the moment I add an inductance, that means to say I am not going to allow instantaneous change in current. Okay. Inductive effect means it does not allow instantaneous change in current. The waveforms are almost the same. Please see, you are having an AC input sinusoidal waveform and you are giving the gate trigger pulses. So, the thyristor also, please see the thyristor also, voltage across the thyristor will be there as long as the SCR remains off, it does not conduct. Once it starts to conduct, it is going to become 0 and the remaining part of the negative also will be there. Okay? That is what it is. Now, please see what is the difference between output voltage and output current. Please see, the moment it is triggered, of course, voltage will appear, and when it goes 0 also, please see, because of the inductive effect, the SCR the load voltage will pass through little bit of negative. Inductive effect is there, and that is why please see the current also slowly rises, becomes maximum and becomes 0 once the voltage across the load becomes 0. So, it will not switch off at the instant of when it passes through 0 in the negative half. So, there will be slight extra conduction in this period because of the inductive effect. Okay. So, this is what is the RLU, okay, just for information for you to understand and for you to analyze. The amount of ripple is going to be decreased, the more flatter, more constant DC output voltage is obtained whenever I connect a RL load. Okay. So, dear students, so far I have discussed about what is the meaning of phase control and then what is firing conduction angle, and I have discussed about one type of converter which is single phase half wave controlled rectifier. So, probable review questions which may appear in your question papers. What do you mean by phase control? Okay. So, you must talk about how you can control your DC output by giving a triggering pulse to the gate, and then you can even the question which may appear is what do you mean by firing angle? What is firing angle? So, you may please give a definition with the relevant waveform. I think when if you draw the waveform, it will be fetch you more marks. So, which shows that you have understood the concept in a better manner. Similarly, what is conduction angle? Also that question may appear, and definitely one major question which you can expect is need circuit of a single phase half wave control rectifier and explain its operation. So, dear students, once again I have given 2 more slides for you to maybe make your curiosity more better, for you to know more better about these things what I have discussed. Switching service requiring voltages above 20 kilovolts and involving very short rise times remains within the domain of the thyratron, which means thyristors have not totally replaced thyratrons. So, wherever high voltages greater than 20 kilovolts is required, thyratrons are going to be used. Please see, there are certain very special devices, Kryton, Spiratron, Ignitron, triggered spark gap, which are used in special applications, nuclear weapons and AC to DC to AC power transmissions. And the largest ever mercury arc rectifier was built by English Electric, 150 kilovolt, 1800 ampere, and it was used till 2004. And please see, there are mercury arc rectifiers still in some South African mines. At a polytechnic, please see, I wanted you to know about this. At Mombasa Polytechnic, electrical and electronics department still has a mercury arc rectifier, and Manx Electric Railway on the Isle of Man is still using mercury arc rectifiers. So, dear students, I have discussed about phase angle, phase control, firing angle, conduction angle and half wave control rectifiers, and I hope and pray you have understood the concepts. So, and I hope and pray you go and read and understand and analyze the concepts better. Happy reading and keep smiling. Thank you.